week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with...
Sean.
And Kieran.
No Chris this week because he was away on business and we are recording a little bit late for various reasons and it's Wednesday. And do we publicly shame him about him not having watched the best race of the season yet?
No, let's not publicly shame him about not watching the best race of the season.
Was it the best race of the season? Was it better than Australia?
Oh, you mean Japan? I mean, come on. There's clearly an overtake. I would probably still go with Australia for action, Bahrain for strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, strategically interesting.
Whichever way, Chris hasn't watched it yet. You never know, he might find out all about it from listening to us. No.
Yes, Lance Stroll was great.
Yes. Come on, make it semi-believable.
Lance Stroll was there. No.
I did message... when he said I haven't seen the race about an hour ago, I did reply by saying Max won. And I'm now at the point where I went, but has he actually seen the result?
I'm
because
sure
he hasn't
will
read
have seen the result.
He hasn't seen your post yet.
No, that's the thing.
Maybe he's watching the race now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we could get him on and have a live commentary 3 days after the event. But,
This would have been the best way. He should have joined. This would have been the best way to experience a Grand Prix. You didn't watch it. You don't know anything about it.
Here's what we
happened.
think.
You have a little drum roll before each team. Next up is Sauber. They were shit, you know? Ugh.
I'll tell you what, we'll actually start with them.
Drum roll, please.
When we get round to the review. Because I think we've got newsy bits. There is news. First thing is, even though the race is as soon as September next year, the Madrid Grand Prix has finally signed a construction deal to actually build the circuit.
That feels too late.
Madrid is September next year.
Yeah.
And that's 16 months.
Yeah, the work's due to start next month, but yeah, they've only just agreed which construction firms they're going to be using to make the damn thing. They're cutting it a bit fine.
It's a street race, isn't it?
Ish.
Okay, if it's street race, they might be okay, but yeah.
Yeah, tarmac that, remove that light.
I mean,
that subway's closed.
Yeah, bits of it look like it's going around an industrial estate, so I'm getting Formula E flashbacks.
Yeah. Make sure your manhole covers are welded down.
Yeah. You've got to account for siestas.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an hour lost each day.
Yeah, and building permits and God knows what else, because the Spanish legal system, if you use those three words to my mum at the moment, she goes into some kind of fit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my dad died a year ago this week, and she is now about 3 to 4 months off finalising all the paperwork with the will.
As in, it's to come in 3 to 4 months?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
God. Yeah, so the Spanish legal system is not one to be admired.
No.
Well, it is for people who like to stretch things out.
Yeah. I look forward to the 2031 Madrid debut on the F1 calendar.
We don't make jokes on this pod anymore about things that are planned in the future and don't happen because remember the 2021 regulations?
That's our whole gimmick.
And we kept saying they were guaranteed to be delayed, and then COVID happened, and that was the reason why everything got delayed. And
so you're saying this Madrid race plan situation could cause a new pandemic?
No, us saying that it'll happen later than it's meant to could cause a new pandemic.
So there's only some sort of, flu based in Spain from history that we could learn from. Some sort of Spanish flu that could give us a sign. Maybe a Spanish flu in the 1920s or something. Yeah, so I don't know. 16 months. It's probably a bit too soon. But it depends how much they've got to do. I wouldn't mind if that race is delayed. Personally, I still don't think that's going to go ahead. I could foresee some reason why, I don't know, Spain go bankrupt, or they're not that interested, or sadly, maybe next year Alonso isn't in Formula One and Carlos Sainz is sort of still bobbing around 9th or 10th. It's not quite the advert everyone thought it would be.
Or maybe the construction's not up to scratch and the FIA can't give it grade 1 status.
Yeah, or they've made it out of biscuits. Yeah, that is the other.
Don't go knocking Spanish biscuits.
I've never been to Spain. I can only jest.
Actually, to be honest, the biscuits that we get the most every time we go to Spain are Swiss. So
don't go knocking Swiss biscuits.
Yeah, seriously, the amount of different Milka biscuits.
The range is much bigger than the range we would get over here.
Yeah. So
do you mean the different types, or the hardware store, the range? Technically, for our American listeners, it's a bit like I don't know what the equivalent is.
Home Depot?
Home Depot. There you go.
We don't have the range. The range is new to me.
We've just had a range put in town. It's taken over our home base.
Wow.
I was nearly in there for 10 minutes before walking out buying nothing.
But no, it's the variety of Swiss biscuits that you can get in Spain compared to what you can get over here.
Yeah. When I was in Berlin a couple of weeks ago, I went into one of their Kauflands, which I love. It's a fantastic shop. And their range of... Oh, what's it called? It's delicious. We'll come back to Formula One soon. I think it's called Schottengotten or something like that. They used to sell it at a cinema on the Isle of Wight, and they do about 50 different flavours, and they're chocolate bars, but they're individual tiles completely separated from the rest of them. So you get like 20 tiles in a box. And I bought about 4 flavors. I just was so happy when I saw them again. And then my favourite flavour was a caramel brownie. I had 2 of them, and I went, no, I'm going to have to get back to the UK, and Jane has to try these. These are excellent. And I left them in my hotel room.
Oh.
Didn't get any more.
I have no idea what a Schottengotten is.
No, I don't know the Schottengotten.
Is it Schottengotten? It's
I fear to imagine how the Googling of this is going to go.
Schooten.
There's a strategy board game called Schottentotten.
That's it. I'm messaging Jane downstairs. That's the name of that nice chocolate I like.
You're not thinking of Ritter Sport, are you?
No, I bought one of... Actually, I'll tell you off air. I might have fiddled my work's expenses system to get some of that, but that's not important.
Hope it was vegan.
It bloody wasn't. Yeah. Anyway.
So yes, going back to Madrid. Of course, it's going to be 2 races in Spain next year because the Madrid race is set to be the Spanish Grand Prix, but Barcelona still has a contract for next year.
Just quickly, is it called Showgetten?
Showgetten sounds about right. Paul, you were so close to bringing it back to Formula One. Showgetten, that's it. Yeah, they're super cheap. There's like €1.50 for a box, and you go, that's going to be poor quality chocolate, and it probably is, but my threshold is low.
It's where it fits. It's where chocolate fits in on the advent calendar scale.
Yes, exactly. It's above the advent calendar scale, definitely.
I mean, if you ever see any chocolate product that says Kinnerton.
Oh, that's not a good quality thing, is it? No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
that's it. Schotten. Scootin. Scott. Tasty stuff, anyway.
Yeah, I've seen Americans turn their nose up at Kinnerton chocolate, and for God's sake, they eat Hershey's for enjoyment.
Oh. That's just a very greasy chocolate.
Yeah, I used to like it when I was a child, but I've gone off it.
I'm probably just going to get absolutely stomped now by Americans defending Hershey's. But no, European chocolate, far better. That is a hill I am prepared to die on.
I bought some of that Dubai chocolate when I was in Berlin from the Lindt shop. It was about €3.20 or something for a teeny tiny little bar. And it was absolutely mid. There was very little to it that I enjoyed beyond a regular chocolate bar.
I don't do nut with chocolate. I'm very sort of set on nut being a savoury flavour, so I am not tempted by the Dubai chocolate.
That's fair.
And there's now going to be a lot of comments about from the sweet nut lobby.
Well, they're wrong.
The sweet nut lobby. I think I saw them support Fall Out Boy in 2000.
Nuts are not pudding.
God, what sport are we doing a podcast on?
So, Formula 2 this weekend.
Formula 2 was amazing.
It was.
The sprint race.
But Madrid. Madrid will be officially the Spanish Grand Prix when it gets started, but Barcelona does have a contract for next year. So we could get the return of the European Grand Prix, or Barcelona could be the Catalan Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And apparently the Circuit de Catalunya is looking to extend the contract, but there's difficulty with having more than one race in a country of the size of Spain. Obviously, with the US being as big as it is and spread over as many time zones, then yeah, I think they can get away with having three there.
Well,
as long as two of them are good.
We would have had in 1997 Spain and Jerez, wouldn't we? And then the year before we would have had Estoril for Portugal, which is, I was about to say, basically Spain. I think that's probably offensive.
That's all of Portugal will come for you. You say Portugal is basically Spain.
I hope they're not into nuts for dessert, because we've really done them in this week.
Yeah, apparently the best-selling chocolate bar in Portugal is the Hershey's Nut Bar.
So yeah, I don't know. You could have two races in Spain. I prefer to have less than one race in Spain, given how the average Barcelona goes.
And they've got what? They have four? Do they have 4 MotoGP races? Obviously, the market is huge for MotoGP, so it's a different situation.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when 90% of the grid is having the home race every couple of weeks in Spain, you can kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, Barcelona, well, the Spanish Grand Prix or the Catalan Grand Prix or the Barcelona Grand Prix has improved since they moved the testing to Bahrain.
Has it?
A little. Because what we saw in previous years at Barcelona, and it was Chris that came up with this theory, was you know exactly what you're going to get because it's going to be just about what it was in testing, because it's an ideal test track and they've already tested there for 3 days.
But you started this podcast by describing the Bahrain Grand Prix as the best race of the year so far, and they tested that.
Because the conditions were completely and utterly different to how they were in testing.
When they tested in Barcelona a couple of years ago, they had snow.
It wasn't a couple of years ago, it was 7.
Well, yes.
Oh, no, was it?
That's ridiculous.
It's Alonso and a McLaren.
Bottas sort of sat looking moody at a snowman.
The pit lane snowman building contest.
Yes.
And I don't have the name drop on here, but getting an email from the Mercedes garage saying we've got nothing else to do, so we're listening to your pod. You guys are actually funny.
Oh.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason this year Bahrain worked, even though they'd been testing there. But yeah, I think it was different conditions because the track temperature was about twice as much as it was during testing.
Yeah, well, it was 12, 13 degrees they predicted with wind chill during testing, and it was 32 to 35 this weekend. So that's a it's not the hottest Bahrain, because I think the hottest Grand Prix ever was Bahrain about 2004, 2005 or so. But it is a hot Bahrain, 35 degrees this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good because it caused a few issues.
Yeah.
Tyres were unpredictable. They brought... Am I right in thinking they brought the hardest range of the tyres?
They did.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I would love to have seen a kitten soft on that. That would have been
2 laps.
genius. That would have done... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Russell's fought it through. He's only doing a 14 stopper. That's big brain thinking. But yeah, it made it interesting. And Spain doesn't always take advantage of that. I think the most interesting thing which has happened in Spain recently was redoing the last corners, making it the long turn, the long right hand.
Oh, getting rid of the god-awful chicane.
So they basically do the MotoGP configuration now, don't they?
Yeah, because I think MotoGP got rid of the chicane after 1 year because somebody sadly died during a support race.
Oh no!
So that's why they don't use it anymore, and now I think that is now the standard.
Yes, I think it gives them more runoff, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It makes sense.
not as hard braking into it.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a thing that may or may not be happening. So the Spanish race is going to be the Schrodinger's Grand Prix.
The chicane at Barcelona, I think, is where Jean Galal crashed at about 4 miles an hour and broke his back.
I'm not laughing at the broken back. I'm laughing at the 4 mile an hour crash.
I'm laughing at the word Sean and Galal.
Sean Galal, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a name from the past.
Anybody got a craving for chicken? I think he's in WEC now, isn't he?
He was for a while, definitely. Was it him and like Stoffel Van Dorn were teammates or someone of that?
Something like that.
Wow.
I think the chicken money bought him an LMP2 drive with sort of real drivers.
Yeah, Team Chicken Legends, wasn't it? Jagonia I am.
Let's have a look.
Oh, there is a Jagonia I am F2. Is that F2? Oh, it might be a jersey from a different sport. I kind of want it as a jersey on eBay. Jagonia I am.
Oh, right, okay.
No.
So Sean Galal is now driving for... I probably need a drum roll here. Zach Brown.
I don't have one.
Zach Brown?
He's joined United Autosports.
Wow.
And he is driving a GT3. McLaren GT3 for United Autosports in WEC.
Who were his teammates when he was in LMP2?
It would have been... Let's have a look.
No, I've just seen who one of his GT3 teammates was. Get your surnames out. There's 15 of them.
Stoffel Van Dorn and Tom Blomqvist.
Ah, there you go.
Right. Yeah.
Although his debut season in 2016 was with Antonio Giovinazzi. Christ almighty, which one of them participated?
That is 24 Hours of Le Mans winner, Antonio Giovinazzi.
No, this was the Asian Le Mans Series in 2015, 2016.
Not then, he wasn't, but...
They got 2 wins, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, sorry, the Asian... Yeah, no, 2 wins.
2 wins,
yeah.
2 wins in the Asian Le Mans Series.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, when you say it out loud.
Yeah, it's like that catfish episode with the one that was claiming to be the hottest guy in Maine.
Yes. It's not as impressive as it sounds.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so we're now going to get everyone from Maine on at us.
Ooh, all 3 of them.
As long as they don't eat Hershey's with nuts in and not Portuguese, we're good.
So what do you do for a living? I market Indonesian fried chicken. Crap.
Getting back to things that could get round a track in Formula One. Actually, the other thing is, it looks like we are now in the last year of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix because Imola is probably not going to get renewed, which I think is a massive shame because I think it's a great circuit.
There've been some good races there, haven't there, since it's come back on the track?
Yeah,
On the calendar.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's traditional. It's an old school, all right, non-Tilke cookie cutter circuit, and it's flowing because it actually follows the geography rather than having the geography created round it. I was like, oh, a corner like this would look good here, but no, with tracks like Spa and Imola, it's like, oh, we have to put a corner like this in because that's where the land goes.
It's suffering a bit from the old Suzuka effect of the cars are too big for the circuit now, which is a bit of a shame because we're going to lose a lot of classics if we end up down that route quite often.
Well, make the bloody cars smaller.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's what the aerodynamicists want to do.
No.
Well, Sodom?
Yeah, I've got a Mr. Stroll Senior on the phone who would like a word about that.
Yeah, I think that there's probably an argument for the fact that making the cars smaller may not fix everything. We will still have the odd boring race. There'll be different attitudes, but personally, I just don't think we're going to have longevity at some of these classic circuits if this carries on. Spa's a bit different. Spa's a bit wider. There's longer straights at Spa. There are better overtaking opportunities. DRS works quite well there. And Silverstone the same actually as well. But Monza is troublesome because it can be a little bit narrow when it's not on the straights. Same goes for Imola, same goes for Suzuka, same goes for Hungary, Monaco without the barriers. I don't want to sit there and go, oh, we're back to the classic circuit at last. Oh, which one is it? Austria.
Which nowadays isn't the same as it used to be when there was a lot of overtaking there.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I have expressed my opinions on Tilkedromes for quite some time now.
Did you see last week there were some plans published for a South Africa street circuit? Tilke adjacent.
Cape Town.
I think it is Cape Town.
They've just got Kyalami upgraded to FIA Grade 1. And now they're doing this.
Yes, but it's a Tilke arrangement. One of my friends at work is South African and was looking at the map, and she was saying exactly the same sort of thing. Like, why are they going there? There's a road already there. Why wouldn't you just follow the road round? They're going to put in this new route to take it round a stadium, and very sort of Mexico-y. They want to go through a stadium and around past a swimming pool, and
I suppose it was the big Liberty thing when they came in. They want to have destination races. That what was it? They said 22 Super Bowls.
Yeah. But then, okay, so they've brought in Miami, they've brought in Las Vegas. Those were obvious ones. Those were easy wins in a sense. But then, what else have they really added to the calendar, which they could class as a destination race? A race in Vietnam that never took place in the end. The return of Imola. It's all very nice to sort of design these things and think, oh, that will fix it all. We'll bring back Imola. I know that was a bit of a pandemic hangover, but a lot of the other pandemic tracks, such as not Hockenheim, the other one, Nürburgring, Portimao, they
Turkey,
didn't hang around.
We got Turkey back for a couple of years.
Turkey. Yeah, Turkey's great. I would sooner have a Turkey than a Cape Town. And that's not to say that the Cape Town couldn't be a good Grand Prix, but they're not marketing it as a potential classic racetrack. They're marketing it as a destination Grand Prix. And old man yells at cloud, I'm sure, but I kind of want to go somewhere which would guarantee good racing, not good paddock pass sales.
Yeah, I'd love to see Sepang back on the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. Sepang is a fantastic shout.
Oh, right, it's a Tilke track, but he's got it right.
Yeah, it was one that worked, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's strange how 15 years ago I was quite miserable about the Tilkedromes, and now the ones from 15 years ago are pretty good tracks. Shanghai is a bit hit and miss, but apart from that, Bahrain, great. Sepang, great. Valencia, yeah, not great, but others really good.
So, seeing as Bahrain great, shall we do the race?
Yes.
Yes.
And as I said, we're starting with Sauber. Bortoleto, the last classified finisher in 18th, and Hulk DQ'd for grinding the plank.
Oh, yes.
Didn't even know he was a skateboarder. I'm down with the kids. Sorry, what did you say, Karen?
Oh, sorry. All I said was, did we see either of them do anything?
No. I can tell you absolutely bugger all about their race.
Hulkenberg fell back to last on the first lap, and then he did some wacky strategy where he pitted on lap 5 or something mad.
Yeah, what was it? I think Hulk crossed the line in 12th, so he didn't do all that badly, but just...
Obviously spent quite a lot of time running over curbs and whatnot.
Yeah, and that was just it. No, I didn't see much out of the Saubers at all.
No.
Anonymous.
No,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, back to the old days of anonymous Sauber. Talking of utterly anonymous, Aston missing presumed dead.
You're going to have to remind me what positions they finished in.
Lance was 17th and Fernando was 15th.
Oh, wow.
Lance was 17th.
Yes.
Genuinely, how? How did he do 3 car? Well, hold up.
There
Right.
were 2
Includes
DNFs?
Hulkenberg?
There was a DQ, a DNF, and a Bortoleto behind him.
How far ahead of Bortoleto did he finish? It's going to be like a second, isn't it?
1.4.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so Fernando. Let's cover off Fernando. He made it through to Q2.
Yes. Oh, actually, that was Hulkenberg's most notable thing that he did all weekend.
Oh, yes, he made it through to Q2 when he shouldn't have.
Yes, made it through to Q2 at the expense of Albon, and then during Q3, they worked out that he shouldn't have been in Q2,
situation.
so they dropped his best times.
Oh, and didn't Liam Lawson hit Hulkenberg at one point?
Liam Lawson hit everyone.
Didn't he hit Lance Stroll at one point? Was it Stroll?
I think he did have a bit of a coming together with Stroll.
Let's have a look.
He tried to take a very tight line, Stroll did, and Liam Lawson went, nah.
I think he hit Sonoda, and he might have hit Hulk, and he was all over the place. I mean, we'll get to RB very shortly because they are next up after the Aston Martin. What the hell? That car isn't there, and the story's starting to appear about, is Adrian Newey going to get involved in upgrades rather than working on next year's car?
Yeah, I don't think he should.
No.
I think they should bank the wind tunnel time.
Yeah. You know, what are they going to do? What they're going to do with Adrian Newey upgrades on this car? Make it nearly adequate?
Yeah. The prize money, what's its face? Lawrence Stroll can easily afford to, what's it called? Counter.
Bankroll it?
Bankroll, yeah, essentially. He can turn around to the board and go, all right, lads, 40 million less than this year, but I've got that in a jacket somewhere in my cupboard. You could all have it. In the meantime, Adrian Newey's going to fix things next year.
Yeah, I think the sensible thing for them to do is just write this year off now.
Yeah.
For Adrian Newey upgrades. Obviously, there's probably going to be some work on this year's car. Because if they carry on going backwards at this rate, they're going to be looking at being outside the 107%.
I don't think they will. I think they'll hold firm.
I
think it would be a massive mistake if they did.
I think at some point you need to have a look, don't you, and just see, like, actually, what is the problem? Is there some quick fix we can throw at it? If it's, like, a bad concept, then they probably are stuck with it. But actually, if there is a few little bits they can do to it, it's probably not a bad idea.
Replace the second driver?
That might be one bit, but there we go.
They might already have enough points now not to finish last in the championship. There's a very good chance Sauber don't get another 4 points. So, knowing that they've still got Alonso as their talisman and also appearing Lance Stroll, they will. There is still a chance. Alonso has to score points at some point this season. He's 0 for 4.
Does he have to?
Yeah, I mean,
could he be the Bottas?
Logic. Oh God, yeah. every generation has a Bottas every year.
That is the worst opening to Buffy the Vampire Slayer I have ever heard.
Yeah, it's. I don't think Sauber are going to go into the double digits with the current competitive midfield.
Given how competitive Sauber were last season, I would tend to agree with you. Ended up looking into points. I mean, Aston Martin are currently 7th. They haven't scored in the last 2 races. And Lance has got all their points.
And Alpine might have just started to suss their car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And is it Racing Bulls also behind them?
For now, yes.
Well,
who may be a one-car team as well.
Agile looks pretty Teflon. Do you want to move on to them?
Yeah, we will do them next. I mean, talking about Agile first, it's good to say that it was a bad race for him, only getting 13th.
Yeah, he does. He looks very solid, doesn't he?
Yeah. Even with all the potential of Lawson, I still think he is a better bet for the team. Because they have broken Lawson twice.
Yeah. It's a concern with Liam now, isn't it? It's not, one race is forgivable. The second race is a concern, especially given that it's Bahrain. It's a track he knows well. He probably doesn't get more experience than in Bahrain.
And ends up coming away with 16th place and 4 penalty points.
Oh, of course. He wiped out everyone left, right and centre, didn't he?
Yeah.
Still 4 penalty points. Points on board.
Yeah, I mean, Marco was making excuses about for him or about him. We can see progress with him when he qualified 17th. Like, well, yeah, it's progress from.
Yeah, it's not last, is it? So
it's not last, so therefore it must be better. They've ruined him. They've ruined him. You don't suddenly become a bad driver unless you just get screwed over.
There's got to be more to it than that. I mean, yeah, like you say, if mentally he is exhausted, the one thing I don't like about Marco, one of the things I don't like about Helmut Marko is that he's not really a mental health champion, I think.
No, I think that is
widely accepted. Given he laid into Lando when Lando said that he's not sure he's mentally strong enough to win a championship, and he had a pop at Hadjar because he cried after boffing it in the wall on the formation lap in Australia. He's not empathetic. So Liam's already on the back foot.
And do you know what? I think possibly the best thing for Lawson would be leave, get out of Red Bull.
Yeah. Where does he go though?
IndyCar for a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing absolutely fine in DTM until, was it Kelvin van der Linde?
I think so, yeah.
Decided that he doesn't deserve to drive.
Yeah, what was it? They didn't like a young rookie coming in and showing them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's a good driver. There's a lot of potential there. It's just that he is the prime meat grinder example. And I feel bad to see him going through this, and it's actually affecting his. You can't even say day-to-day performance, lap-to-lap performance, because he's making mistakes. He's driving into people, and they have removed his head from the game. This guy isn't a Maldonado crawling around at the back being a mobile chicane with elbows. This guy is naturally quick.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's a very forceful and some might say a little bit arrogant. And I think his successful attitude is kind of coming back to bite him because things aren't going great for him at the moment. I think that's why he's kind of getting so vilified. So I'm standing up for his performances.
Yeah.
I'm not standing up for his mouthiness.
Yeah, you maybe as a rookie want to sort of wind your neck in a little bit, and
even if you're in your third rookie season.
Well, yes.
I'm staying with that all year.
If he's here all year.
If he's here all year, and then if he gets binned off halfway through the year and comes back next year.
Fourth rookie season. So, yeah, it was a poor performance, but the amount of pressure that he's carrying, it feels like he's got Helmut Marko sat on his airbox telling him how to drive.
He may as well do at this point because it's nothing much is working for him right now.
No.
Is he still there by Zandvoort if this carries on? Do they get a Wasser in?
This is it, isn't it? You've still got that problem of who comes in, who is actually going to do a better job. Is it a Wasser? I'm not sure.
Is it Lindblad?
Do I come back to my Kevin Magnussen theory?
Oh, totally. Totally.
Do you know what? The more I think about that, the more sense it makes.
It does make sense, so it's definitely not going to happen.
It's a shame.
Yeah, but do we see Lawson get completely and utterly destroyed? Is it going to be Stoffel all over again? Fast, talented, ruined by team politics and bad cars.
Romain Grosjean was full kit wankering at the IndyCar at the weekend. He's obviously very keen to get back in a seat. He was in the Prema race suit, even though he was not in the Prema car.
So, going to throw Haas out there next. Double points finish. Ocon in 8th, Behrman in 10th. Another points finishing race for Behrman.
Some good overtakes, I think, in there as well, weren't there?
Yeah, he's proving to be the real sort of top rookie of the year for me. I know Antonelli is the all-new, soon-to-be all-conquering. Give Behrman a decent car, and I think he can take it to Antonelli.
I think there've been some good performances generally from the rookies, actually. But yeah, he definitely seems to have sort of settled very well. Compared to quite a veteran teammate as well, is looking quite good.
Yeah. And having the worry of having Ocon as a teammate in general.
Well, yes, there is that.
Comes with the tax.
Yeah, there is always that risk.
The guy on the grid is the biggest arsehole on the grid. There are rumblings, I think Coulthard said it the weekend, there are rumblings that Ocon is starting to get quite worried about Behrman's pace, and it's unanticipated.
Excellent.
I don't know
spice it up.
Don't know where they're getting the unanticipated from, given the 3 races that he had last season.
Fair point. Yeah. I think that. So, firstly, awful Saturdays turned into very good Sundays for both Haas. You had Ocon in the wall at the start of Q2, and he's turned that from 14th into 8th, immediately with what looked like a badly timed safety car, not giving him that much luck, but somehow he recovered it. He was holding off Max quite fairly in that period. And Behrman, at one point he was 20th, and the next point he was 10th.
Yeah, I mean, he was great at the start. Ocon, the strategy worked perfectly because he pitted incredibly early.
I hadn't noticed he'd pitted, and he is someone who generally can try and make a one-stop strategy work where maybe it isn't there for everyone. I hadn't appreciated at one point that he was genuinely where he was in the order. I thought, oh, he's just not stopped yet.
Yeah, no, we're having the same. We're having the same chat on Discord, and people were saying, "Oh, Ocon looks like he's doing well, but he'll plummet when he stops." And somebody brought the timing screen up, and I was like, "He already has."
Yeah, it was quite a tasty undercut. I remember now, because Tsunoda did similar. That's how he sort of ended up where he was, because he started falling backwards a bit, Tsunoda, and he eventually got himself back into contention. So yeah, good strategy from Haas.
Yeah,
yeah, very good.
Yeah, I would probably say this has the potential to be the best Haas we've seen in all their time on the grid.
Possibly, yeah. Two cars that seem capable of getting points as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no binary results.
No.
Yeah. Just as long as Ocon can keep his teammate allergy in check.
I suppose we haven't really seen this yet, have we? They've been close, but I don't think they have actually been next to each other on track yet.
Yeah, we've not had the Grosjean K-Mag 3 races on the trot try and murder each other.
If I was Haas and I was looking to move on from Kevin Magnussen, I don't know why it's only just hit me. I might not have purchased Ocon.
He's not an immediate one that springs to mind to bring in as a team leader.
No.
I just mean as a calming influence.
The only good logic I could find for it is if they knew they were going for Behrman, Ocon is also very tall. So just from a sort of having to build a car around someone.
Yeah, that might be the only reason. It's like, big guy, he can fit in the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Fernando, we're not signing you. The pedals will be too far away. You'll have to put a booster cushion in. Let's see, where we go next. Let's do Alpine. Do we do Alpine? No, we'll do Williams.
Oh, okay.
We'll do Williams, actually, because they ended up pointless. Sainz with a puncture, you could say, in his side pod.
Yes.
Or it looked like a
fiber puncher.
Yeah, shark bite, somebody called it.
I think he did get the blame for that one, didn't he?
Yes, he's ended up with penalty points.
He got the penalty, yeah.
Obviously, they'll be doubling it if he swore about getting the penalty. Right, now, this is my first FIA. This is an FIA rant.
Oh, is this about the penalty that wasn't?
Yeah, they actually managed to miss Sainz serving the penalty.
Yes.
Because we said this watching it live, didn't we? When Williams called him in to retire, we're like, no, you've got to serve the penalty or that's going to carry over.
Yeah. And as it turned out, the FIA were watching the same TV coverage and didn't see him stop and didn't bother looking at the any of the timing, if the timing was working at all. But surely all they had to do was look out of the window and see him in the pits and then driving around for another lap.
Yeah, you'd notice a car come in, sit still for a bit, and then carry on.
So they have the pit stop counter as well, because they deploy the graphic every so often.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the end of the race, they slapped him with a 3-place grid penalty because they claimed that he hadn't served it, which they immediately withdrew the document when they realised that he had pitted.
Mm-hmm.
For once, I can actually say that. Were the stewards watching the same race?
They actually might have been watching it because, we didn't see it. We didn't realise he had. So, but you just kind of assume the stewards have other angles.
Yeah, race control is meant to know what's going on.
They're meant to see it all.
That's the control part of it, surely.
I'm going to put a minor conspiratorial hat on.
Excellent.
Here.
Oh.
Yeah, why not? Bring that back to the podcast. Have the FIA got it in for Carlos Sainz? In Japan, he got done. So there's one. This is arguably fair. I don't think we really chatted about this in the Japan podcast. The fact that he ended up essentially blocking Hamilton on his Q2 time.
Yes.
When they were the Ferraris were very safely through to Q3, and for some Ferrari reason, with 4 seconds to go, they went, "We're safe. Let's do a hot lap." And I sat there going, "Well, don't do that." And Williams probably sat there going, "Well, they're not going to do that." And then by the time they'd realised they were doing it, Sainz was in the way. Maybe I've mellowed a bit since, but I do kind of think they could have thrown out that penalty on grounds of...
It could have been a reprimand or something, couldn't it? Or like, don't do it again. Because it didn't actually...
the situation.
Yeah, it didn't actually impede the car that he impeded.
Yeah, it didn't change anything. He's clearly through. Okay, there is a safety thing there of don't go into the second turn at Suzuka at 40 miles an hour. But no, they slapped him with a 3-place grid drop. It's sort of ruined his weekend because the Williams isn't a very good climber in Carlos Sainz's hands at the moment. Then in the race at Japan, he twice got put into an investigation, or at least noted, for cutting the last corner chicane. And it happened with a couple of people. I know Lando did it on the very last lap. It happened with a couple of people, but people just got away with it. Antonelli got investigated as well, I think, for doing one. But Sainz twice got a very innocent, well, I've missed my breaking point, I'm going to cut the chicane. He's not gaining anything. Why are we investigating that? And then Sainz turned around and goes, shit happens, or I can't remember what he said was in the press conference last week. Doesn't get a fine, suspicious. But then we're back on the, is Sainz the baddie? Give him a penalty before we can figure it out sort of attitude. And no, none of the things in Japan, apart from the qualifying thing, ended up in a penalty. It just seems a bit weird that it's always Carlos Sainz when he's basically done very little wrong.
He did miss the anthem, though.
He did. I forgot about the anthem.
How could you forget about the anthem?
He missed the first 15 seconds of the anthem.
Of course, he was taking an extra long visit to the plot shop.
Did George Russell describe this at the drivers' press conference this week as a really expensive poo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the grid walk. On the grid walk, Brundle tried to get Lando with 45 seconds before the cut-off of the anthem, and Lando wouldn't speak to him and said, I don't want to get fined.
Yes. Yeah.
So from this we can deduce that Lando has now got Marshawn Lynch as his PR. Where were we before that
Alpine
curveball?
Williams.
Williams. Albon. 12th.
But he was shafted by the qualifying situation, wasn't
he? Yeah.
The car had, according to James Vowles, the car had the pace for Q3. Got held up in traffic at the end of Q1, and that's why he didn't make it through. And it just kind of turned the entire weekend a bit for him.
And the Hulkenberg situation.
Yes. Yeah, I can't remember. Did he lose out under the safety car?
I can't remember specifically.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he gained anything from it.
That Williams looked remarkable in Bahrain testing. And James Vowles did say, look, we were better in cooler conditions. But it's just a surprise how different it could look this weekend. Well, I say that Sainz qualified, 6th? He was near best of the rest.
Yeah.
Before it all went wrong for him, 7th. I think it might have been behind Lando. Is that right?
Possibly.
Yeah, he was near Lando.
Yeah.
I think it's a very unlucky weekend for them both, wasn't it, that they had? Yeah, the qualifying woes for Albon, and then, Sainz gets was it Sonoda?
Yeah.
He had his coming together with.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the few that didn't get absolutely twunted by Lawson.
Just Lawson's car.
Yeah.
Or his old car.
Yeah. Lawson hit me. No. But,
Not this week.
same car.
Talking of that particular car and FP1 when Red Bull put out Tsunoda and Iwasa,
Oh, yes.
that was the first all Japanese lineup since Super Aguri.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Kind of raises the question, why didn't they do it last week?
Yeah. And I'm sure they said that Gasly was going to give up his spot in FP1 this weekend for Franco Colapinto to go in, but that never happened in the end, I don't think.
Well, I think it's going to be a slightly different rule for Alpine. I think Doohan will only have to give up his seat for one race because you're counted as a rookie if you've only done 2 or less races.
Okay.
And every car has to have 2 rookie sessions this year.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if they're going to give Colapinto Doohan's car and...
I mean, they are at some point, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Just generally.
Yeah, I mean, just give him it for one session at first and then maybe for 2 and then 3 and so gradually ease him in.
Mm-hmm.
It does sound like that Doohan's going to hang around till the summer now, though. That's been reported, I think, by the race.
He looked better, didn't he, this time out? He just looked a little bit more comfortable in the car.
Yeah, he did till he messed up.
Well, yeah, but yeah, generally.
Yeah.
His penalty was track limits.
Yes.
Repeated track limits.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's starting to... Again, this is like Lawson. The artificially generated pressure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't know officially if he's down to be replaced by Colapinto, if he'd only got the 6 race guarantee. It's a lot of speculation, and yeah, he knows what his situation is, but everything else must be getting to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And so far, every single race has produced an error of kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be it been in it on the first lap, be it been in it in FP1, be it track limits. He hasn't had a clean one yet.
No, and it didn't seem as bad for the first 3 races because the car wasn't doing all that great, because Gasly wasn't showing what... showing a good Alpine situation with being able to get points. But that all changed this weekend because it actually looks like they've worked out what the car can do. You know, Gasly was 6th until the last lap.
I mean, did Doohan qualify 11th and just missed out on Q3? Was that him?
It was by an incredibly small amount as well, I want to say.
So yeah, it does look like there's a bit of life in that car.
Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, Doohan missed out by 0.002 of a second.
Oh, no.
Sorry, 200s.
Still no.
Yeah.
Rotten luck.
Yeah. He was in Q2 6/10 off Gasly's time. But, yeah. Gasly was second fastest in Q2. So, you know, that is not bad.
Yeah. No, it's definitely... there's something there, isn't there? There is a spark of something.
Yeah. We just need to get it out more often.
Yeah. Whether it can be consistent enough and actually, see through a race.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. But yeah, I've seen the thing in the race with him looking like he's going to be there until the summer, and then decisions will be made. I just wonder if that's now going to be hastened after Gasly's performance this week. I think Saudi Arabia will be telling if Gasly has another good race. I think Doohan has to be up there as close to him as possible. Just to show that, they have sussed the car out and it wasn't a one-off fluke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't believe the pace and consistency that Gasly had. You know, I will admit I spent a large amount of time on Sunday afternoon thinking, when's it all going to go wrong? You know, this is Alpine. You know, 10 laps to go. He's running in 6, and it's like, oh, box and retire the car. We're leaving Formula One now.
Yeah,
Which would be the most Renault thing ever.
Mm.
And then come back, come back 20 laps later and expect him to go out and make up the 20 laps he's lost.
I watched over the last, I can't remember if it was before, I might have said this in last week's podcast, I can't remember, but I watched the Flavio episode of Drive to Survive, and he's a twat.
Yeah, I think you did mention it last week, but I do think it needs reiterating.
I'm doubling down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we say that about him most weeks anyway, so...
What was it Ted came out with this weekend? Oh, it's his birthday. He's however old he is. I actually thought he was older.
He's reconstructed. I think I did say something on our chat group, which I think would be libelous, so I'm not going to repeat it here, about Flav.
Yeah, he has the money to sue, so yeah.
I think he could put me away for a long time.
No, it definitely wasn't the little blue pills in the petrol tank.
Yes. And it definitely also... No, I'm not going to say.
No, I
don't. Moving on.
Moving on. Well, I was just going to say sort of along the same lines as Ted's Flav thing. It was like a tweet that got me a load of grief and cheered on at the same time. It's a very simple one. It was just like, Joan Rivers has died. Some of her was 90. Or however old she was.
Yeah, I don't think she was that old.
Well, no. Right, what we got next? We have Red Bull up next.
Quite early to be talking about Red Bull, isn't it?
It is. So, the car is terrible. Max couldn't actually stop the damn thing because his brakes were playing up all weekend.
Yeah.
Yuki, in his own inimitable style in pre-race interviews, said it's definitely interesting to drive. For interesting read, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, why have you... give me back my car. Car back.
Yeah, getting a 6th and a 9th is probably the best that they can expect. If Max is saying the car's undrivable, when it's been designed for his style, it's all on the nose. What the hell have they gone wrong? Horner is blaming. There we go.
The wind tunnel.
The wind tunnel. It's obviously not pointing them in the right direction, but would anyone trust where Horner's finger's pointing?
Yeah.
For the last time, it was just a blurry finger. a moist, blurry finger.
I don't know.
Flav ain't going to sue us.
Okay, one of the chat groups I'm in, I have been calling him Finger Spice since the start of last season.
Oh, God. Oh, dear.
And then, of course, at the end of the race, we get the crisis meetings.
So, 2 reports on this in there. There's one, which I think this is Ted's report of it, which is that Raymond Van Meulen, I think his name is, who I'm pretty sure is either a crap darts player or a magician. But apparently, in his spare time, manages, it says here, Max Verstappen.
I just assumed Jos managed Max Verstappen.
Yeah, but Raymond's allowed to be at every race in case Max's mum turns up.
Oh, okay, so this is Jos's stooge.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. Can I have a one? No, again, I'm not going to say it. So he apparently laid into Marco after the race. And allegedly, what Ted was saying on the F1 podcast this week on the Sky one is that he thinks it was down to the messed up pit stops, which could be correct or it could be liberal bollocks. I don't know. or liberal loads of bollocks, should I say, not liberal bollocks. That's not my persuasion. A liberal dose of bollocks, essentially. However, the other report, which I think was it Thomas Mayer, who's the ESPN reporter, he came out and said that there was a meeting, an intensive meeting happening between Horner, Pierre Vacher, is it Paul Monahan?
Paul Monahan.
And Helmut Marko. Apparently those four were having a bit of a crisis talk as well. So clearly there's an issue. We'll get to the ramification, what could come from that issue soon. But they've got to fix the car because Max can only do so much. Max was brilliant in Japan, one of his best wins of his whole career. But that, starting at the front and being at a place where you couldn't really overtake is different to starting in 7th.
Yes.
I'm just saying everyone started 7th. He started in 7th, finished 6th with a last lap overtake and a safety car to help. That's not good enough from Red Bull to Max. And furthermore, that might go as far to say that Helmut Marko's... I'm going off on one. Where do I end this? Helmut Marko, he said last year or the year before that Max would stick a Haas on pole. Put your money where your mouth is. Put him in the RB. Let's give it a go.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, he's got a bloody Caterham and he can't stick it on pole.
No.
Some of the reports I saw about the crisis meeting, it has been suggested there is some kind of performance clause in Max's contract that if that car is not capable of winning a world championship, he can leave.
The one I've read is if he is 4th or lower in the Drivers' Championship at the summer break, then he can exercise that option.
He might not be. He's a solid 3rd, I reckon, unless George Russell and that Mercedes does get better. The skill of Max is what will be Red Bull's saving, because that car with Lawson and Tsunoda in isn't making it into Q3 very often.
No.
So the skill is the fact that you've got such a hot property in Max. I am starting to think that we are going to see in a number of months' time an announcement down at Aston Martin of Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll, and I will take the day off work to go online that day to watch that one. Daddy, can you stop chucking world champions at me? No.
I mean, the rumours have been doing the rounds for a while that Lawrence wants Max in the team, and there was like a 4-year, €250 million a year contract being discussed, and but if Red Bull don't do something about fixing the car soon, not only are they going to lose Max, but I think they are going to lose a lot of other staff and
they already have, haven't they?
Yeah.
In terms of obviously Newey,
Wheatley. Yeah, but I think they're gonna lose the good ones that are left.
Particularly with another team coming in next year.
Yeah,
because they're going to be hiring people.
Well, yeah, they are left, right, and centre. All you got to do is go on. If you go on LinkedIn at any point, and
you become an employee of new F1 team.
Yeah, if you've got a LinkedIn account, you've ever even vaguely mentioned F1 in your posting history, you see job adverts from Cadillac. Unfortunately, every job advert that's come up has been on site, and the commute would kill me.
It would, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't get to Indianapolis every day. But yeah, and I think they'll lose backing as well, and they will go back to where they were when they started in their first couple of seasons. An uncompetitive car with what will end up being an uncompetitive engine, because why should Ford bust a gut?
Spot on.
Yeah, how bad would it make Ford look if, the engine's good, it's just that the car can't go in a straight line quick enough.
And does then if you are a young talented driver looking to sign with a young driver program, you probably look for other offers then rather than Red Bull, who go through more young drivers than anyone because they have two teams. So actually then trying to find that next big thing that's going to drag your car back to the front of the grid becomes a lot harder.
Yeah. So
that Ford engine has to do a lot of work next year, and I'm not convinced it's going to do shit.
No. They've got to fix what they are putting the engine in.
Will Buxton tweeted today to say that Max likes two things in Formula One: Adrian Newey and Honda engines. Next year, Red Bull are going to have... This year, he's got one of those things. It's all falling apart. Next year, he's going to have none of those things.
But those two things are going to be somewhere else, aren't they?
Yeah.
Specifically somewhere which has the money. And I mean, I say that it's probably going to be Alonso. It's going to be moved along because Lawrence Stroll is mad, but it could be either of them. They could go for the Max Fernando dream team.
He might sacrifice his son for Max.
Yeah. What's the line? What is the limit? If he doesn't sacrifice his son for Max, he's not going to sacrifice his son for anybody.
No. Or he's going to apply to put a third car in.
All that, yeah. A two-seater. Run the two-seater with Stroll in the back. Go on, Adrian. That's what you've been tasked to design. Now stop watering that plant and get back to the drawing board.
Barely mentioned Tsunoda, who... Yeah, right.
Probably the most competitive someone has looked next to Max as his teammate for quite a while. In terms of the result.
Yeah, what... I looked this up, and it was the best result by a Red Bull number 2 car, I think, since...
Was it Kota?
Might have been Kota last year.
9 races, they said.
Yeah, I'm just...
I was about to say Mexico, but the second Red Bull car did not do well in Mexico.
No.
Only were you were last and flipped off by your successor.
Forgotten that little detail.
Hang on, racing record.
What have you Googled here? Racing record shit Red Bull.
Yeah, For some reason, it's bringing up the Red Bull esports. We've got Red Bull Racing Grand Prix results, 2024. Yeah, it was Kota. When Checo got 7th. So yes, that is the most competitive anyone's looked in the second Red Bull in a while.
Yeah.
And obviously, that was that Tsunoda's first points of the season? I can't remember.
It might be,
Yes,
yeah.
it is. Yeah, he was absolutely bagel down at Racing Bulls. So yeah, this is his first point.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh no, he got points in the sprint in China.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, I apologise. Yeah, came 6th or something.
Yep. So that instantly puts him above Hadjar on the drivers' championship. So he's beaten his former teammates. So he can now lay claim to being the second best Red Bull back driver on the grid. In 15th. He's only had 2 races. Give him a chance. But yeah, it looks like he's coming to terms with the shitbox.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's going to take time, and the problems aren't on the track; they are in Milton Keynes.
Yeah. You could say that for everything.
Right, Ferrari. 4th and 5th, which on the face of it is good, but nobody nobody's really happy.
No.
They were in sort of a bit of a race of their own, really, weren't they?
Yeah.
Lewis in particular. I think Charles had a bit of a sort of battle with Lando.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Until his tyres fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit anonymous from Ferrari in total. Lewis qualified 9th, made it up to 5th. There was that really strange moment after the safety car where they went. It was one of those wacky Ferrari strategy races where they went, "What's everyone starting on? Soft. Okay, we'll rule that out. No, hold up. Let's rewind a bit. We'll start on mediums. Okay, and what's your strategy? Well, in 20 laps, we'll put on a new set of mediums.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your strategy after that?
Yeah, Leclerc was
And
not
then
happy about that, was he?
No. Then a safety car came. And they put him on hards.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first pit stop for Leclerc, and it was like, we're bringing you in now. It's like, no, tyres are still good.
He was okay with being pitted, but he wanted to go on to the hard, didn't he? He wanted to do a one stop.
You never know what would have happened had they had the safety car not happened. They'd run 10 more laps and then stuck on hards. The hards wasn't working very well for a lot of drivers. Max, more specifically, I think.
I think Lewis had a lot to say about.
What do you call them? Shit or something?
Something like, yeah.
What are you doing? These tyres are shit. He had a 16-second advantage over Piastri when they pitted him for another set of mediums, and that was bad. At that point, you wait till Piastri's 6 seconds down the road, then you pit for your one stop, and you hope that your tyres last long enough that when Piastri pits and comes out behind, you can hold him up. At the very least, you're gambling to be on the podium. The way they were going with some Lando, I was going to say bad luck, but sort of faults of his own, they were guaranteed 4th because they weren't going to catch Russell on soft unless his softs completely fell apart, which they didn't until too late. And Piastri was gone. So why not? You're not going to win the title this year. They already know that. Roll the dice. Give it a go.
Yeah, it's not that Ferrari are risk averse. It's they don't like taking the right risk.
They did manage to do a sort of, it wasn't a full double stack, was it? It was that they had a bit of a gap, but actually did manage to do 2 pit stops in quick succession without cocking either of them up.
Yeah, well done. You did your job. Early nomination for Participation Award, Ferrari's pit crew. Talking of pits, actually, we didn't mention this during Red Bull. Probably fits in well during the wanker category. What the hell was going on with the Red Bull pit signals?
I'm convinced there was just technical gremlins generally, because we lost the timing for a bit, didn't we? That was shite. George Russell had whatever the fuck was going on with his car, where, one button was doing 2 things, and his transponder, I think, kept shitting itself.
Yeah, and Fernando's wheel fell off on Friday.
Yeah, I think there just seemed to be general bugs in the system all around.
Yeah, because I mean, Red Bull were there. They had the lights in the above the driver, and they had a bloke standing there with a light board as well, and they both weren't working.
Yeah.
Which I think the first lost about a second and a half on the first pit stop for Max, and then the second one that actually dropped him down to running 20th before the safety car. Before the safety car. That was a problem with the front left, but the lights were still blinking, and Yuki had the problems as well.
Yeah.
So, but that was Red Bull, not Ferrari. They can't blame bad pit decisions on things going wrong. They'll probably try. Yeah, it's just. I mean, the car isn't terrible. The drivers are good. They're just a bit vanilla.
It just hasn't quite come together, has it?
Yeah.
Yet. It may very well do at some point.
Yeah, it needs the flake and the red sauce. And maybe the hundreds and thousands. Right, Mercedes. George Russell in an audacious second.
Yes.
And Antonelli out of the points for the first time.
Yeah. a bit unfortunate for Antonelli.
Yeah.
Again, he got slightly stuffed by the old, the undercut that didn't work. Essentially, 'cause he undercut the safety car. I don't think it's not really a thing. But he just got a bit unlucky when he appeared before the safety car, and then everyone else came out. And oh no, hold up, what am I saying? Didn't they make him do half a race on softs?
Yes, I think he was the last. He was the last one on softs to pit, or certainly got the longest out of them.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, because he was running top 6 at one point, and he just started going backwards and never sort of really had the opportunity to recover.
Yeah,
because I mean just looking at his fastest lap time, it was a lot faster than anyone else around him.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely had the pace. It's just that it didn't pan out for him. Combination of slight strategy that didn't work and pure dumb luck.
He's a good driver. He's been unlucky, but I'd like to apologise to past Kieran that said he might be unstable. I think we have now probably seen the last of Valtteri Bottas in Formula One.
Until he joins Cadillac next year.
Until he joins Cadillac with Perez.
Oh no, it's going to be him and Esteban Gutierrez.
Oh.
God. He still hangs around.
Yeah, it's going to be like Cannon and Oates.
My favourite crossover combination. Richard and Garfunkel.
It's looking ominous for Valtteri. I mean, he was there this weekend, looking as Aussie as he possibly could. But the audacious move for Russell: 22 laps on a set of softs, and it worked.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, he managed to hold Lando up. I think 2 or 3 more laps, and
yeah, I think it was just short enough, wasn't it? By the time the safety car came in, it was just doable.
Yeah, but yeah, solid drive. The Mercedes seems to be a hell of a lot better than last year's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely so. It's a step forward, and if they do, as it seems to be, have the jump on 2026, and that might become a attractive prospect to Max. I know, I mean, not to run him around the entire F1 paddock going boy for sale, boy for sale.
That's pretty much what Yoss is doing, I imagine.
I mean, Ron Dennis was doing that with K-Mac.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, and they couldn't sell K-Mag, and they went, well, we've got this innovative free driver strategy. Oh, right. So you've put a third car in? No, but
we'll
swap them round.
We'll just electrocute Fernando. And
he's going to be super handy if, for some strange reason, Fernando Alonso thinks he's 5.
I really need to hear Fernando's version of Everybody Get Up. Looks like George might actually put paid to the Max to Mercedes rumours, because he's apparently, according to Autosport, it looks like he's on the verge of signing a new deal.
Potentially so, yeah. Brundle came out today or yesterday and said he really needs to do so, and now, because Max will loom and Toto will want Max. So yeah, it would be weird to think that Russell, after the season he's having, I would say his 4 best races in a row, to end up in this scenario would be a real shame.
I mean, I think that any team, if Mercedes do get Max, any team that doesn't would be mad not to snap him up.
Totally. Absolutely. Red Bull could learn their lesson, and instead of promote Hadjar, just sign up George.
Yeah.
Learn from not picking up Sainz last year.
Would that necessarily be the best option for George, though, if Red Bull are on the slide a bit?
I don't think it would, but it's not for racing reasons. I think it's for off-track reasons. The president of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, who voices the drivers' collective opinions on the state of F1 and dealings with the FIA, being held in check by Helmut Marko.
He was, I seem to recall as well, quite vocal about Red Bull when they binned off Albon.
Yeah, his mate.
His mate.
Yeah. I couldn't see it working because you couldn't get both of them in the same organisation.
Possibly not.
You know, there would be fireworks, not the good kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly like that time on the 4th of July in San Diego when everything went off at the same time. But great performance from George.
Very much.
Yeah, qualified strongly, raced well, and looking good. Just get that bit of paper signed.
Yeah. He needs to.
And that just leaves us with McLaren. Piastri
sensational.
Bolted off into the distance twice.
Yep.
Won by 16 seconds, 22 seconds after a safety car. And that is with an ailing George, but still it's very good given how comfortable he was.
Yeah.
No, I think I think this could well be Piastri's championship year. Because I think Lando can be faster, but Lando's prone to making more mistakes, as qualifying, ending up in 6th.
He's just very level, isn't he, Piastri? He's not someone who you hear being frustrated on the radio and very sort of uppy-downy. If he makes a mistake, like in Australia, you could see sort of another driver making that kind of mistake at their home race and it affecting them for weeks afterwards. Straight away, it was like, oh, I'll just go win the next race, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I cocked up.
Totally chill, totally relaxed guy, not stressed on the radio. Yeah, cool, copy, okay. Can I have my water? Be nice to have some water or something, wouldn't it? His water wasn't working.
Yeah.
He is completely laid back. Is he favourite for the title? I want to see more races to see if he has the raw speed that Lando can magic out of nowhere. But he's definitely mentally it's 3-1 on aggregate to Piastri, and Lando's gonna need something. He's got to tell himself something, or he's in trouble.
Yeah, because I mean the problem with Lando and what might push the title further in Piastri's favour, it's the little things. It's the one bad lap in qualifying, the one bad corner in qualifying, the track limits, the driving over cautiously when he's been warned too many times of track limits and losing time.
Yeah.
And it's tiny percentages. But unfortunately, that is what F1 championships are won on.
It was like in the race as well, didn't I? I think Brundle at one point said his racecraft has been terrible today because just every overtake just seemed to be a bit hard work.
I mean, at one point I did think it was Alex Dunn. Who, for anyone that didn't watch the F2...
a weekend of 2 races for Alex Dunn, wasn't it?
Yes, the F2 sprint race, I want to thank Dan Slattery for this, described Alex Dunn as having the racecraft of a walnut.
But in the feature race, won.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't even make it to the first turn before he biffed off Victor Martin into the DRS
That was one
boards.
of the ones he didn't get a penalty for.
He didn't make it to the start line before he put Victor Martins in the gravel.
He got 2 post-race penalties and neither of them were for that.
Yeah, he's an audacious little bastard.
Irish anthem, though, we enjoyed that.
Yep, first time since Eddie Irvine.
I was going to say, I've never heard the Irish national anthem.
Whatever.
Maybe never. I mean, I'm trying. When would I have heard it? The only other time, apart from in the
Rugby?
F1,
Watch
would
the
be
Six
during the
Nations?
football. No, not the Six Nations. I don't watch it.
Boxing in the Olympics.
Boxing.
I was going to say the Olympics is the only other one, and I was trying to think of a sport that Ireland are much cop at, and it's rowing or boxing, isn't it? I don't really watch the boxing.
They got swimming gold last year.
That's one that I could have. That was possible. But if you said to me, sing the Irish national anthem right now, pass.
We'd have issues with our listeners from Ireland.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry, guys, and it's a bit of a struggle because I am very aware of this accent. This accent isn't au fait over in Ireland, and I really apologise for that. But at the same time, I listened to that Fontaine's DC album today. It's good. It's a good album.
You've been on Irish radio this year, even though you did,
sorry,
even though
Danny.
you didn't know it at the time.
I've been on Irish radio without realising. We're recording this. This afternoon, I at work we're organising a conference for Dublin next March, and I kept saying, "Oh, okay, so lunch will be £43," and he kept saying euros, and I just thought, God, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, God does say that, you'll go down even worse.
Yes.
But yeah, Alex Dunn could be one to watch. Oh, that was me getting a warning that there's a driver update. Yeah, Alex Dunn could definitely be one to watch in the not too distant future. It's just if there's any spaces on the grid, but who's he going to be test driving for next year?
He's in the McLaren program, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing any changes in the McLaren F1
No,
lineup.
Possibly not.
I think both
something would have to catastrophically go wrong between those two drivers for that to happen.
Yeah, cause they've both got multi-year contracts.
Yeah.
So, rock stars and wankers. Piastri, top of the rock star list.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Gasly.
I was going to say Gasly. Worked out how his car works. Going to chuck Behrman in there.
Yeah.
Yes. I was going to say Tsunoda. I don't think it's quite Rockstar yet. Top 6, top 7, then it's Rockstar.
Yeah, it's like
Tsunoda.
solid support act, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. George Russell, potential driver of the day shout.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Piastri deciding that he didn't want to see anything in his rearview mirror, George would have been very good.
Got anything else?
No.
I missed a lot of weekend. I was away for a lot of weekend. I didn't really caught the race live, so I can't think of what else really happened. You can list wankers all day long.
Yes.
The wanker category is going to be fun. We'll start with the technical gremlins.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. We lost times.
Yep.
George's transponder was going ape shit.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
weird pit lane light situation.
Yeah. George Russell managing to open his DRS when he was using his backup radio button.
Yeah.
On the F1 multi-viewer app, George Russell was in the car park.
Oh, wow.
All the other dots are going round. George Russell's about 200 metres away from the circuit.
Yeah,
He's ordering a hot dog.
This kept happening, that he just kept dropping down the timing column, and they'd point it out in commentary, and then Crofty would forget and get everyone's position wrong.
Yes.
Another one on the wanker list for not noticing.
Not paying attention.
Yeah, forgetting within the space of a sentence where he was.
Yeah. At one point, he said that when Max was stuck behind Ocon, he said that Tsunoda was stuck behind Max, and then he went, sorry, the other way round. Max is stuck behind Tsunoda. I was like, no, he's stuck behind Ocon. He's not stuck behind the wrong car. You corrected yourself wrong. Oh, dear.
Whoever it is that monitors the track limits and didn't notice Hulkenberg in Q1.
Can we just say the FIA in general?
Generic
for that?
FIA.
Yeah.
That one I felt needed specific mention.
Yeah, it wasn't just Hulkenberg though, because they deleted one of Antonelli's lap times as well, but it wasn't his fastest.
Yeah, and also that didn't stop someone progressing to the next bit.
And Antonelli, apparently, the only evidence I've got of this is Crofty apparently did notch up 4 strikes, but it never got announced. So somewhere in the FIA gremlin machine was a big gremlin there.
Yeah, I remember them talking
gremlin.
about that.
Or Crofty got it wrong. I
Or
don't know. I'm not
Crofty
calling him a
couldn't
gremlin.
count.
That sounded bad.
There is every chance it could be a Crofty error. We're never going to have him on this show, are we?
Probably not.
No, it's strange because I love Crofty. I genuinely, I think he's wonderful. I don't think he's always perfect, but I think he's fantastic.
We, of course, are always perfect here.
Oh, of course.
And I met him once, and he was really well. No, he was really rude to me on live Sky F1, but he was really nice for the photo afterwards. I went to the F1 show in about 2014, and they did an Ask Crofty special, and I applied for tickets and got there. I turned up. I got into the audience. My mate Dan was. I brought along my mate Dan, who worked for the BBC at the time. And he whispered to me when they said, any questions from the studio floor. He put his hand up. He whispered to me and said, "Yeah, why was the coverage better on BBC?" He's going to ask that. And they cut to me just after he's told me this, and I've got my head in my hands with his hand up, going, "Come to me, come to me." And Crofty came to me and said, "Oh, we've got a man with a beard." And I said, "Thank you." And he said, "I didn't say I liked it."
Does this tell us that Crofty can't grow a beard?
Yeah, the man has not hit puberty. Just like, thanks, Crofty. But he was very nice afterwards, so I forgive him. I'll track down the clip somewhere and send it on.
Yes, please. Right now, can we put Lawson in the wanker category for the mistakes? Bearing in mind, I was defending him about why he's driving like an absolute panic attack on wheels.
He did happen to people enough that he ended up getting 4 penalty points. It feels wankerish.
I'm gonna go Gene Simmons.
Oh, okay. What did he do that was rock starry?
Actually managing to turn up and drive the car. You've never been micromanaged at work, have you? Yeah, I just want to go for the FIA and the stewards, but that's
fair.
That's a given, and obviously we'll throw Flavio in there as well because.
Oh, it was his birthday. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right, we'll throw Flavio in.
Birthday wank.
1 week off.
Right, participation award. There are many. Aston Martin in general.
Yep.
Yes.
They were there.
Sauber.
Sauber.
Yeah.
You could. There's half a dozen F2 drivers, I'd say, barely participated this weekend. But that's not the point.
There was a few that participated in FP1.
Flood doesn't count, does he?
Well, no, he's not participated. He's very definitely he has not taken part.
Now, can we call him a wanker then?
Oh.
No, we won't call him a wanker. And we won't call him out for it being Wednesday and he's not watched the race yet.
Yeah, that's all from me, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm done. Sean, you got any more?
No, I think that's all I've got.
Right, we were going to do an Is That Glock tonight, but I did promise our favourite Finn,
Not
Michael
Bottas.
Monroe. I mean, sorry, the show's favourite Finn, Santerio Nasty, that we were going to do his, and we know that Flood loves his name that much, so we're going to save that for next week when Flood's back with us. But if you want to submit it as that Glock, then drop us a line, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com. Get us at 3legs4wheels on the socials, and individually we are
At Sean Cowper.
At Kieran is boring.
Chris is at Flood21, and I am at Pablo100. Right, we will see you next week. A little earlier. We should be back on schedule next week for whatever happens in Saudi Arabia this weekend. So enjoy that. jump onto Discord for a chat during the race and the qualifying if you fancy more of the bad jokes that you get on this show.
I was just thinking we have to be on schedule next week, because if we're not, I'm doing it from a flight.
Yeah, we'll definitely
I'm away the next day for a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll definitely be recording. We've already got your summer intern, well, spring intern.
Brilliant.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. It could well be the return of Dan.
Oh,
Depending on
cool.
world events.
Yes, but
Yeah, depending if he's not sent off to and assassinate a unknown Central African dictator.
I mean, he did say he was going on holiday in the next week or so. So yeah, keep watching the news. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.